welcome to Running with Reason. I'm coming to you from the Inglewood Reserve in Inglewood, Ohio, which is one of my favorite places to run because of the different trails and difficulties those trails offer. Of course, this is also my favorite time of year, mid to late October, which is where in Ohio the foliage is at its peak. So the course is a beautiful place to run, not to mention very peaceful. Now, I've had over 30 years of experience running and over 10 years running half marathons, and I've had a lot of people ask me different types of advices, tips, and tricks to running their half marathons. And that's where this kind of came into play. So whether you're actually trying to run a half marathon for the first time or maybe the few times, whether it's a 15K or 10K, I'm hoping you'll get out of a lot of these videos. And when we do these videos too, we're going to do them in order, from the time you first sign up to a course to about a week or two after the race ends. So with all that being said, let's go ahead and get it kicked off with the very first segment, choosing your race. So, before we begin picking out a race, there are many factors we want to think about, especially if it's your first time doing a half marathon or a long course race. Now, for the sake of this video, I've narrowed it down to 3 things. The first thing is create your goals. The second thing is to pick out the course based on those needs and goals. And the third thing is finding a race that's going to give you ample time to train. Now, let's begin with the very first thing, creating your goals. Are you looking for a race that's going to give you a really good time? Or are you looking for a race that's going to give you a really good time? Are you going solo or with a group of friends? Are you just looking to get that first finisher medal or just to kick it off the bucket list? There are many different reasons to run a race. In fact, you may already have the course and that is your goal for running the race. Picking out the goals should be the easy part and the motivation to do what you are doing. So once we do that, let's go on to the next step. Whether you don't know what race you want to run, or you may already know what course you want, research is still a big part of the game. First, let's say you don't know what you want to run. The best way to look around is to simply research it on the internet. There are many great sites that will list races by how close they are to where you live, or by what time of year the races are. Not only do they give you that information, but more than likely they will have links to the race website. This is where the real research begins. Pick out a course that sounds good to you and visit their site. If it is a well-known race and a well-designed site, you will get a bevy of information to make a decision on. For example, let's take a look at my next big race, the Cincinnati Flying Pig Half Marathon in May, about 6 months from now. You should be able to find information such as overviews, testimonials, amenities that race offers, and to me, one of the most important pieces of info for a first-time runner or for a course that's new to you is the elevation chart. The reason that this is so important is it gives you an idea of how hilly or flat a course may be. This can alter your training from where and how you run to the shoes you use, to what you need to do in the gym, and so forth. If you are a first-time half marathoner, I highly recommend finding a straight and narrow course. That doesn't necessarily mean that you cannot pick a challenging course. A lot of it has to do with what your goals are and what your mindset is. Another big thing that I think about when taking on a race is the actual visuals of the race. Is the race out in the open or in the city? Are there a lot of things that are there to look at? Or are you going to simply rely on your own thoughts to get you through? Me personally, I like a race with a little bit of flair. Races like the Flying Pig have entertainment every mile, crowds cheering you on, and you get to do some interesting things like cross a bridge over state lines or have a chance to take pictures in scenic places. I like my eyes to be occupied to keep me going. Again, a lot of this has to do with your past experience in running and how confident you are. Personally, I recommend allowing yourself at least 5 months or longer to train for a race. Another big benefit of signing up for a race far out as possible is it locks you into the goal. Now that you committed, you might as well see it through. It also has a fiscal advantage as well, especially half marathons and marathons. They are cheaper the farther out you sign up and become more and more expensive the closer to the race time it gets. Not only that, you risk a chance of the race being sold out if you wait too long. Once you finally do sign up for a race, a couple of things you need to keep in mind is they will more than likely ask you what time you're going to finish the race. Do not panic if you're not sure. If you research online, you'll have an idea of what your mile time might be if you're running or walking. You can get an idea when you're going to finish. The purpose of this is to simply place you closer or farther from the starting line as possible. That way the faster people are not running over the slower people at the beginning of the race. I personally always set a high time for myself, and depending on how I feel closer to the race time, I might put myself physically further back. That is much easier to do than trying to convince yourself or the officials to allow you to go forward into another pen. One of my favorite things to do, if you're lucky enough, is they'll let you choose your name you can put on your racing bib. I personally always like to sponsor my site or my cause on the bib, but a lot of people like to go with their names as well. I always recommend getting creative with it. Well, there you have it. I hope you enjoyed this first video, and join me for the next one, choosing your equipment. Mainly we'll be talking about shoes and how to get them properly, along with some things that I like to use to help me enjoy my running and training a little bit more. If you like this, please like, share, and subscribe. And also, more importantly, go to my GoFundMe page and please donate. And this is a donation because all the money that I get for this, I'm giving to the Cure Starts Now Foundation to help cure childhood brain cancer, and in the end, actually help find a home run cure. So, until the next time we meet, remember, shine in the spot you've been given, and together we can make a difference. I'll see you at the finish line.